Hello and welcome to the channel. Festus Keyamo has responded to Obi's tantrum about the call by the United States Secretary of State to Nigeria's President-elect Bola Tinubu. Recall that Anthony Blinken had a few days ago called Tinubu, promising that under his administration, the United States would strengthen its ties with Nigeria. Obi had responded that the United States Secretary of State should not legitimize the Tinubu presidency until the verdict by the election tribunal. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. US are where you lost your tantrums ineffective, Keyamo tells Obi. Minister of State for Labour and Employment Festus Keyamo has told Peter Obi, flag bearer of the Labour Party LP in the 2023 general elections, that his tantrums are ineffective as the United States is aware that he lost the presidential election fair and square. Keyamo spoke in response to Obi's comments about the telephone conversation between Anthony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State, and Bola Tinubu, President-elect. The former governor of Anambra argued that the basis on which Blinken called Tinubu to pledge to strengthen the ties between Nigeria and the U.S. was unclear. Obi asked Blinken not to legitimize the victory of Tinubu until the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal gives a verdict. Keyamo in a tweet on Friday said Obi overrated his tantrums and that of his supporters as having any effect internationally. It is obvious that you and your supporters have overrated your noise and tantrums after the election as having any real effect internationally. No, they have not had any such massive effect as you would wish, he said. Unfortunately for you, the US has dealt with so many opposition figures around the world and they know exactly how to separate facts from fiction. They know you lost fair and square. They know that in a complex society like Nigeria, you could not have won with your message of religious war. They know you are just a splinter of the main opposition, the PDP, so it amounts to delusions of grandeur to think that you won when you actually came third. They also know the declaration of a winner already announced by INEC has the force of law and is the only acceptable legal framework upon which to proceed than your petition in court that is yet to be decided upon. You really want this country to stand still because you have a case in court? Is that what we have practiced in this country for decades? The minister stressed that Obi's pontifications about the presidential election were getting worrisome as they have beneath him. Recall that Obi faulted a call made by the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to President-elect Bola Tinubu, adding that he should let the court decide the legitimate president of Nigeria. Obi in a series of tweets on his verified Twitter handle while reacting to the conversation between Tinubu and Blinken on Friday. Obi said this in a series of tweets on his verified Twitter handle while reacting to the conversation between Tinubu and Blinken on Friday. The Punch reports that Blinken had pledged stronger ties between the U.S. and Nigeria during a 20-minute telephone call to Tinubu on Tuesday. But the call had generated reactions from opposition camps, with the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar describing the conversation between Blinken and Tinubu as demoralizing. I am in disbelief that the Secretary Anthony Blinken called Tinubu a contradiction to the publicly stated position of the U.S. on Nigeria's 2023 presidential election. This is inconceivable considering that America, as the bastion of democracy, is well briefed on the sham election of February 25th. To give legitimacy to the widely acknowledged fraudulent election in Nigeria can be demoralizing to citizens who have hedged their bet on democracy and the sanctity of the ballot, Atiku said on his Twitter handle on Wednesday. However, Obi charged the U.S. to await the full resolution of the ongoing judicial processes before tacitly conferring legitimacy on any contending party. He said, there is still a lack of clarity on the basis of the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony J. Blinken's call to APC's presidential candidate Bola Tinubu on May 16, 2023. It is thus of overarching importance that a beacon of democracy like the United States should not respond to political developments in Nigeria in a manner that faintly suggests taking sides. The final determination of the true winner of the election can only be made by the relevant courts of law, he added. The most fundamental tenet and core value of democracy is the rule of law. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. Nigeria's democracy is founded on these principles which the American people hold dear. Without the risk of interfering in Nigeria's domestic affairs, the U.S.-Nigeria relationship should be guided by the core values of democracy. Above all, Nigerians expect that the U.S. responses to our affairs should be based on mutual respect, shared ideals, aspirations, and interests which ought to transcend the considerations of any individual or bureaus. The former Anambra governor added that the willful manipulation and falsification of the will of Nigerians as freely expressed during the February 25th elections cannot be overlooked by the true friends and partners of Nigeria. More so, the issues in judicial contention imply far-reaching violations of both the Nigerian electoral law and the Nigerian constitution, he maintained. Obi also stated that there are numerous attempts to discredit him. He claims that he is being targeted both domestically and internationally, with people attempting to replicate his voice and impersonate him while calling others. On his Twitter account, Mr. Obi noted how he was impersonated by an unidentified person. He said, "The latest incident happened in Abuja yesterday, May 17, at the Court of Appeal premises of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal venue, where my attention was drawn to what was going on outside the courtroom. A report came to me while I was seated in court that one Prince Mustapha Haudu, son of the late governor of Kogi State, held the obedient chief spokesman Dr. Yunusa Tanko and some others spellbound, castigating and talking down on me, describing me as an ethnic and religious bigot. He claimed that I called him while I was in front of his office on Tuesday morning around 11 a.m., but suddenly cut off the phone after I spoke Igbo, and Haudu was unable to respond." That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.